Was the Donovan Mitchell show. Cleveland up 102-86 in the fourth. D-Mitch makes it 105-86, putting Cade Cunningham in a blender as he scored 39 points in the second half, tied for a playoff record and a half with Sleepy Floyd. And with that, we bring in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, this was all about the Spider Show in the second half. 43 points in total, 39 of them coming in the second half. Where did you see the biggest difference in his play that allowed him to just take advantage of whatever the Pistons were throwing at him?
Yeah, he was certainly more aggressive in the second half, right? I mean, he didn't score in this game, Chris, until, 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and you're thinking, man, it's really not Donovan Mitchell's night, and if it's not Donovan Mitchell's night, it might not be the Cavs' night. James Harden kind of kept them afloat in the first half, and then in the second half, as you mentioned, he scores 39 of his 43 points in the second half, tied for the most second half points in NBA history. It's 3 straight 30-point games for Donovan Mitchell, and it couldn't have come at a better time, right? I mean, he really buoyed the Cavs in that second half where they come out in the third quarter. They go on that 23-0 run to start the second half. That's the largest postseason run in Cavs history. They end up winning the quarter by 17 points, and from there, they take off. And yes, it got a little bit tighter in the fourth quarter than they probably wanted. As you and I were talking about, Kenny Atkinson probably went to victory formation a little too soon, had to go and put the starters back in, but that's how Donovan Mitchell ends up tying the record. So huge night from him. And we should also mention big night from James Harden, because pregame we talked about, well, what kind of James Harden are the Cavs going to get? And I said, I don't know, because nobody ever knows with James Harden. Sometimes you get good James Harden, sometimes you get bad James Harden. Well, tonight they didn't get good James Harden. They got phenomenal James Harden tonight. 24 and 11 assists and only 2 turnovers. Their 2 best guards, that backcourt, they won the day.
What impressed you the most, though, about the way James Harden played? Was it, his scoring ability? Because he was 5 of 14 from the field. He did get to the line, and he was very efficient there. Or was it the way he was able to play make for his other Cavaliers teammates?
It was the efficiency, it was the playmaking, but it was also limiting the turnovers, because sometimes James Harden gets in his head a little bit, and when he's not playing well, he can be susceptible to turnovers, and the Pistons love to turn you over, and they love to play good defense, and they love to hound you, and they've got the guys to do it. Tonight, though, Asar Thompson, not a great night from him. James Harden definitely got the better, and Donovan Mitchell definitely got the better of the Pistons defense. And look, James Harden, we have all been critical of James Harden in the postseason because he has been so inconsistent. But on a night when you needed that backcourt to absolutely shine, to tie up this series, because the Cavaliers have been much, much better at home in these playoffs than they've been on the road. They've won all their home games and none of their road games. So they needed to tie this series up before going back to Detroit to keep it a series. And not only Donovan Mitchell scoring the ball, but James Harden, as you mentioned, setting up his teammates and taking care of the ball. Credit where it's due. Those 2 guys, and especially James Harden, limiting those turnovers, were fantastic tonight.
Yeah, and we'll get to, their road-home splits right in the postseason in a bit. But let's go back to that 23-0 run, because it reminded me of what we saw for the Pistons, right, against the Magic when they had their lives on the line, right, playoff lives on the line. And the Cavaliers just said, listen, we're going to blitz you, and you're not going to be able to stop us, and then we're going to get you out of your comfort zone. What did you see from the Cavaliers that made them such a juggernaut in that period, John?
Yeah, well, Donovan Mitchell obviously started out super hot. James Harden, again, running the offense. Evan Mobley's another guy that I was critical of earlier in the series. And in game 2, when he had just 1 rebound, we were on with John Henson earlier, and I asked John, how is it possible for Evan Mobley, who's nearly 7 feet tall or around there, to only get 1 rebound? And John just sort of laughed it off. Well, he was really good in game 3, and he was spectacular tonight in game 4 and in that third period. While Donovan Mitchell was doing all the scoring and James Harden was setting guys up, Evan Mobley was just doing a little bit of everything, right? 17 points tonight, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and defensively, last year's Defensive Player of the Year award, right? That's where he really influenced the game tonight, where he goes for 3 steals and 5 blocks. That is a man's supreme effort in a game where, as you mentioned, backs against the wall. They lose this game, they go down 3-1, you're going back to Detroit, probably cooked. Instead, I've been long saying that you need 3 of your 4 best guys, if you're the Cavs, to have a big game generally for these guys to win. Well, tonight, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Evan Mobley, they all showed up.
Yeah, they definitely rose to the occasion. All right, so the fact that the Cavaliers, they have not won, right, a road playoff game, yet they've won all of their home games. How important is it for the Pistons to get this Game 5 going forward, knowing how the Cavaliers play away from home.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Because before this series shifted to Cleveland, the Pistons were on a little bit of a roll, going back to the Magic series, and then through the beginning of this series, they had won 5 in a row. You go to Cleveland, that streak gets snapped. The Cavs do what the Cavs do, which is win at home. So yeah, the Pistons absolutely want to regain a little bit of momentum and go ahead 3-2 before this series goes to Game 6. But they all have to be better, right? Tonight was not their night. Cade Cunningham has been spectacular this postseason. This was probably his least influential, not probably, almost certainly his least influential game, where he was just sort of out there going through the motions. He wasn't influencing the game. He had 5 turnovers. Again, turnovers have been a huge issue, not just for him, but for the Pistons writ large. He has 5 turnovers. Asar Thompson has 4 turnovers. Jalen Duren, who was invisible / awful tonight, so much so that they had to go to Paul Reed, he also had 4 turnovers. And so as a team, they have 20 turnovers leading to 25 points. That's just too much and giving the Cavs too much of an advantage. So I don't even know what they do about Jalen Duren. I mean, he has been, with the exception of 1 or 2 games during this postseason, he has not been the guy who took the step and took the leap during the regular season. So, you're going to need more from Cade Cunningham. I'm going to put Jalen Duren to the side. Tobias Harris, tonight wasn't his fault, but he snaps a streak of 8 straight games of 20 or more points. He's been really good in the postseason. You're going to need him to step up again. Asar Thompson needs to be better. He's usually Mr. Do Everything. He was Mr. kind of do nothing tonight. And then Duncan Robinson could not hit a 3-pointer. Only made 1 tonight, which is not going to get it done. So great that they got 24 points from Karis LeVert, and Paul Reed stepped forward because, again, Jalen Duren was terrible, but that starting cast has to be much, much better going back to Detroit.
Yeah, hopefully for their sake, their crowd can energize them where they give a much more spirited effort, unlike what we saw against the Cavaliers in this game. John Gonzalez, always appreciate talking hoops with you, man. Take care. So, Donovan Mitchell almost outscored the Pistons team in the second half. He scored 39 points. Detroit, as a team, 47. And again, Mitchell, with those 39 points in the second half, tied for the most points in a playoff half in NBA history with Sleepy Floyd.
13 points off of 10 Pistons turnovers, but the Pistons dominated the glass 21-14 and then shot 50% from 3, and they also shot 54% from the field. But let's stick with Karis LeVert, Melo, and what he was able to bring, because it was almost like instant offense and energy off the bench when he entered onto the court.
Karis came off the bench and gave Detroit what they needed, another scorer. I know Cade is happy to see Karis come off the bench and give him that production. Here, right here in this pick and roll, he's able to manipulate the defense, manipulate the pick and roll, come off of that snake that, get to the best shot in the game at the free throw line. That's what Karis has always been about in his career. Here, he takes a challenge on a former teammate with Donovan Mitchell. Hey, I'm sitting down, and I got this, D. Mitch. You ain't going for that today. He did a great job on the defensive end. Here, right here, he's very active. He's moving without the ball. Cade Cunningham finding him. We talked about Cade finding people in the corners and trusting the corners. It wasn't Duncan. It was Karis. And as a result, Karis is having a hell of a first half. Hopefully, Karis can keep that going in the second half.
We talked about, who is going to be that guy to step up to relieve that pressure from Cade, and here we are, right? But this was what it takes. If you want to be a great team, you're going to have nights like this, right? As we watch in the playoffs, you're having different guys step up every single night. It just happens to be Karis half, I should say.
Right.
Hopefully, it can continue that in the second half.
And he has another guy. Tobias Harris has 14 points also. So you have 2 guys taking some of that pressure, that offensive pressure off of you. I think for Cade, continue to draw the double team, get off the ball, let those guys do what they do, and you could be the superstar, the closer that he is in the fourth quarter.
Okay, flip side of that, obviously the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell 0 for 6, didn't hit his first field goal till about 2:48 left in the second quarter, struggled, was very much so cold. What did you see that was different from him, VC, in this first half compared to Game 3?
Great defensive pressure and effort by Detroit, 1, 2. I think they got him pressing, so when he had open shots, he was rushing them, and their defense was predicated on slowing him down. Yes, if James Harden is going to get his, you can't allow both of them, so they're choosing Donovan Mitchell, who can score in bunches and really mess up a game for you, so they've taken him away, kind of bunched up the game for him, and he just has to take his time. I'd love to see him drive a little more, continue to get to the free throw line, and kind of work his way back out to the three-point.
Okay, you guys are all scorers. You've all been there, okay? Your approach, Melo, when you come back in the second half, if you're Donovan Mitchell, you got 4 points so far in this game.
Shoot and shoot.
Yeah, and he's right.
Shoot the ball.
They shoot and they don't miss.
He's right.
Listen, and when I say shoot and shoot, not just shoot anything. You have to just be aggressive. You have to be relentless. You have to go get it by any means necessary. We're home. The Cavs are home. And I have to bring this home as that guy, as that player.
I mean, for me, if I'm struggling in the first half, you mentioned it, the first thing I want to do is try, how can I get to the free throw line? Because I need to see the ball go in. Or how can I get an easy basket? And that's something that your coach draws up for you to get you that easy one to get going.
Yeah, 4 points. That's his lowest scoring half so far of this postseason. 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So we'll see if he can make it there a few more times here in the second half. His running mate, 17-year vet, James Harden. Pull it up. What were you saying? Toby, where you going, Toby? All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on back, Toby.